Hi, this is Phil from underKG.com, and this is G3 Beat. So this is a smaller, low-spec version of the LG G3. There are lots of models coming out from G3. There's G3 Cat 6, that's a Korea local version, and there's the original G3, there's G3 Beat, G3 Stylus is coming, and it seems like LG is going to be using the G3 design language for a pretty long time now. Let's take a look at it. It's got a receiver on the top, front-facing camera, 5 inches of a 720p display. That's not bad for a mid-ranger. And there's the LG logo, and this original design from the LG is still here. It's two-toned, and as we've seen on the LG G3, the same design language is available over here. And on the right and left is dominated by nothing. On the top is a infrared port, remote controller, noise cancelling microphone. On the bottom is a 3.5mm headphone jack, micro USB port, and the microphone. On the back is a camera, the laser autofocus sensor, LED flash, volume rocker, and the power key. And we really like the volume rocker and the power key on the back. The one from the G2 was kind of clumsy and hard to use in the same time, and the one started from the G3 is very easy to use and good to look at in the same time. There's a carrier logo, LG logo, the speaker grill, and there is the pattern finish on the plastic battery cover, which is removable in the same time, like this. And you get the access to the 26 10 milliamps of battery, replaceable, and two slots over there, micro SIM and the micro SD card slot, expandable memories. Putting the battery cover back on, we got the little size comparison. There is a Galaxy S4. This is a 4.99 inches. Let's just call it a 5 inches. And another 5-incher Sony Xperia Z1 is over here. And to compare that with the original G3 5.5-incher, goes like this. Design is very similar indeed. It's the same family and same design language here and there in the same time. And it does have thicker bezels compared to the original G3. We can notice that. But it's a lower end device, so we guess we can expect the same kind of standard for a cheaper device. You can double tap to wake that and unlock the screen. And the main interface we've seen from the G3 is still here. And the apps are pretty much the same. The app drawer, the touch buttons are all the same. The notification bar, one we have noticed over here is that this guy lacks the ambient sensor, so it does not recognize whether it is bright or not. You have to manually control the brightness of the phone. And going to the settings is pretty much the same, except for the fact that we've noticed a little bit of cost reduction coming from the LED notification LED. We know that it's not exactly common for the lower end devices, namely from Samsung, to have an LED in the first place, but this guy only has the red LED lighting. It's really hard whether it's a message or the battery is fully charged, or if you're charging your battery, or whatever apps are sending you a notification, since there's only one color available from the LED. It's pretty confusing. And there are other numbers of the cost reductions that we have found. Seemingly the key features of the LG G series, the Q remote, only has 2 types of devices. Compared to the LG G3, the original G3 had 3 types of devices and the universal remote in the same time. We get that due to the cost reduction, there has been changed to the infrared ports that only transmits the signal rather than receiving the signal. So we get the lack of universal remote, but we don't quite get why they deleted the audio category from the remote. It seems like it's part of the kind of a model level classification. This is a mid-ranger, so it only supports 2. It's quite a lot of reduction coming from the LG G2 or the G Pro. They had a lot more remote controller devices supported. So that was kind of shame. And also the display is really not impressive. We're not talking only about the resolution. 720p is good enough for a 5-incher. It's just that the panel itself is not exactly a premium, nor even a mediocre one. It's quite a cheaper kind of panel. It's quite noisy, and color reproduction is bad in the same time. The viewing angle isn't that terrible, but it's not as satisfying as most of the modern phones do. And The specs itself isn't anywhere being impressive. It's a mid-ranger, so it's acceptable. It's got a Snapdragon 400 of a quad-core processor that runs at 1.2 gigahertz. It's got a 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of storage. That's pretty mediocre. And the benchmark proves about the same. It ranks around 17,000 scores in the Antutu benchmark. That's pretty much the standard. We're even feeling that we don't have to run the benchmarks anymore because most of the Snapdragon 400 and gigabyte of RAM devices get the same results whatsoever. And it runs pretty smooth, but the problem that we have found is the heat. It generates a lot of heat, especially on the part over here on the back here. We are suspecting that AP is located around here. It gets pretty hot. This isn't getting hot anywhere by now, but we have seen it going up to 40 degrees Celsius pretty easily with the web surfs, with the web browsing, and just the basic smartphone functions. Even with the screen brightness only up to 60%, so we found that a problem. The battery life is about the mediocre. It's got a 2610 milliamps of the battery, and Snapdragon 400 and the HD display isn't anything big for it to handle. It's just about the mediocre. It lasts about a day. At the end of the day, it ranges around 20%-ish remaining battery life. The camera was quite disappointing. We were expecting a lot from the laser autofocus because the G3's laser autofocus performed quite well on our tests. But the one from here, the autofocus was very good, but the camera itself was under our expectation. It wasn't anywhere mediocre. It was pretty bad. Sound quality in the same time isn't anything impressive. Sound quality from your earphones are okay, but the speaker was really speaker volume was really low, and it was really quiet. The quality was okay, but it was really silent rather. Overall, this is, for the price range, it's an okay phone. It's a good looking phone. It's a small, easy to grip. It's an okay phone, but we found that LG did many of the cost reduction, including it only gives an 850 milliamps of battery charger, charges really slow, and LED notifications, and the Q remote. In the same time, we've seen a lot of cost reductions. We're not necessarily calling it bad. It's okay to do cost reductions on the lower class devices, but this is the one that we've seen, like the Q remote, the lack of the device types was kind of discriminatory for the lower end devices because it's only a database. It doesn't cost any more to include audio or not. So that we found was not exactly joyful to find. It's an okay phone, but if you're expecting for lower class devices, we suggest rather a Motorola Moto E, Moto G, or so far of the other manufacturers' devices. They perform better than this, they got better specs than this, and they probably wouldn't hurt your feelings like they did with the Q remote discrimination. That was LG G3 Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, underKG View. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is also available for you to follow. Thank you always for watching, and we'll see you guys later.